Hey guys, what's going on? It's your boy Bowser Jr. Fan 13, and welcome back to another top 10, or should I say top 11. That's right everyone, so last video I did a video on my top 10 least favorite Dragon Ball Z characters, and a couple of years ago I did my list of top 10 favorite Mega Man Robot Masters. So now it's time to go for my top 11 least favorite Mega Man Robot Masters. So the rules are going to be the same as usual and the same as the last list. I'm going to be mainly judging these Robot Masters by their design, their stage, their weapons, and of course their boss fight, and in terms of difficulty too. Oh, and spoiler alert, you're just going to be hearing me complain about the designs mostly. So, you know, maybe you can make a drinking game out of it. Like, take a shot every time I complain about the Robot Master's design. Well, actually, now that I think about it, that's a little dangerous, so don't do that. But anyways, but also, if you just happen to like a Robot Master that's on this list, don't take it personally. It's just my opinion. Oh, and I'm also going to be doing this in order from Mega Man's 1 to 11. And there will be honorable mentions, so without further ado, let's get into this action, shall we? Number 1, from Mega Man 1, we have Bomb Man. Now, coming from the first Mega Man game, you'd think all the Robot Masters are cool and awesome. However, Bomb Man kind of falls into the not-so-awesome category. Now, design-wise, his design is actually pretty cool. Okay, this is probably the only time where I'm not complaining about design, but still, Bomb Man looks pretty cool. Anyways, his stage is honestly pretty simple and easy to go through. It's also very, how should I put this, not so explosive. I mean, the level barely has anything to do with anything exploding other than the exploding bullet bills and those bombs that pop out of the pits. Wouldn't it be awesome if there was like some enemies that threw some dynamite or something, like something a little more explosive? Because I don't know how to feel about it, but his boss fight, he's like way too easy. Like, he's one of the most easiest bosses. Like, it's mostly because like the majority of his boss fight is just him throwing bombs, but he's constantly also jumping from back and forth to the room. But whenever you get close to him, he's constantly trying to jump away from you like he's scared of you, and I'm like, are you trying to kill me or are you trying to run away? But in the Wily Wars version, he actually chases you and tries to jump onto you in that version, so it's much different. Oh, and his weapon sucks too. Like, seriously, the Hyper Bomb is one of the worst weapons in Mega Man 1. Like, unlike the Super Arm where you have to be in certain areas to use the weapon, the Hyper Bomb, like, it's not even that good. I mean, it takes too long to explode. Like, it takes about like 1.5 seconds for it to deactivate and then explode. And I mean, like, geez, that takes like way too long. At least in Mega Man Maker, they kind of improved on that, but that's a fan game, so it doesn't save Bomb Man. So I rest my case for this one. Number 2, from Mega Man 2, we have Bubble Man. I mean, come on. Look at the design and look at the name and everything about this character. Bubble Man. Are you serious? I mean, the design, he looks like a freaking scuba diver, which is a little common, but what kind of name is Bubble Man? Like, seriously? Also, I will admit that his stage is pretty fun to go through. I mean, he has one of the best stages. In fact, I think Bubble Man's stage is probably one of my favorite water levels in Mega Man history. And this is like one of the exceptions where water levels are actually good in Mega Man, but that's not the point. What is the point is that Bubble Man is not a cool Robot Master. As for his boss fights, I originally thought that Bubble Man was kind of hard, especially if you don't have his weakness, the Metal Blade. But now that I think about it, he's not even that difficult, especially if you put it on difficult mode. Like, seriously, Bubble Man is just not that hard. And also his weapon, the bubble lead, it sucks. Like, yes, I know the bubble is made out of sulfuric acid, but you're shooting a bubble. Like, that is the most dumbest idea I have ever heard or seen in my entire life. yes, you could say that the time stopper that Flashman has is useless, but at least you could stop time with it. That's much cooler than shooting a freaking bubble. Number 3, from Mega Man 3, we have Top Man. Now this one was a very easy to decide on. Like, a lot of people have different Robot Masters that they hate in Mega Man 3. Some people hate Spark Man, others hate Hard Man, but I'm one of the few people who hates Top Man the most. I mean, do I even need to explain why this guy sucks? This dude is based off of a toy, a literal top. Like, are you serious? And his stage isn't really impressive. The music is catchy, but man, there's nothing about Top Man that basically describes it other than you're just in some type of factory and you're basically fighting off giant tigers with fleas and enemies that shoot tops and metals, and that's it. I mean, there are the spinning top platforms, but it's only at the end of the stage. Like, why can't that be the main gimmick of the whole stage? Also, he's one of the most easiest bosses in the whole game. Like, all it takes is like you to shoot at him with his weakness, the hard knuckle, then you have to dodge his tops, and then you jump over him while he's spinning around like Michael Jackson. So anyway, it's simple. Shoot, dodge, jump. Shoot, dodge, jump. Like, the pattern is like so predictable. And also, his weapon totally sucks. It's by far one of the worst Mega Man weapons I've ever seen. Like, the top spin is basically just Mega Man jumping in the air, doing a ballet dance like he's a ballerina. No, that is not Mega Man. I mean, at least in Smash Bros. It looks more cool, but this is just plain out stupid. Like, whoever came up with this should have been fired or demoted. Okay, so now we arrive at number 4 from Mega Man 4, and I think at this point, people are starting to run out of ideas in Capcom. So anyways, now it's time to talk about why Toadman is the worst Robot Master in history. I mean, again, he's based off of a toad, and I'm gonna be complaining about Robot Master designs in this one, so this one is already dumb enough because of its design. But other than that, his stage is pretty hard. Like, I can't believe this. Like, how can you make a Robot Master that has the most hardest stage, yet his boss fight is also hard? Like, sometimes he'll be shooting his acid rain, which you can't dodge at all, and other times he's just gonna be jumping around. Like, here's a quick tip. If you just keep shooting at him, he never uses his acid rain weapon. Like, all he does is just jump around back and forth like a moron and just leaves himself open, and he's by far one of the most easiest bosses. As for his weapon, well, I'll admit, it's actually pretty cool. The Rain Flush is one of the most useful weapons in Mega Man, but everything else about Toadman, it doesn't save him from being the worst. Alright, so now we're at number 5 with Mega Man 5. A lot of people complain about how Stone Man is one of the worst Robot Masters, and I'm like, okay, I see where you're coming at, but have you seen Charge Man? I mean, this dude is a freaking choo-choo train. What is he, the cousin of Thomas the Tank Engine? Well, apparently so, because they look very similar. Well, anyways, other than the dumb design, the stage is just a generic train level. It's not too bad, but it's not impressive, I'll tell you that much. As for his boss fight, I think he's probably one of the harder bosses of all time. Like, there are some people who say that he's pretty easy, but he's kind of like the middle of the road. Like, back then, I used to struggle against Charge Man, where I needed to use his weapon in order to defeat him, but now I think I've gotten much used to his strategy and all that stuff, and he's not that much of a big deal as he was back then. But of course, what makes this Robot Master suck even more is his weapon. The charge kick is literally just the slide, except it's just a little wave that shows that there's a kick. Like, how is that a freaking kick? It's just a slide. And also, like the top spin, it's one of the worst weapons because this is going to be basically one of those weapons where not only does your opponent take damage, but you yourself take damage as well. Or it might be the other way around, where instead of your opponents getting hurt, you hurt yourself. Like, what kind of weapon is that? Number 6 from Mega Man 6. Now, I appreciate Mega Man 6 having Robot Masters based off of different countries and representing them, which is all cool. But why the hell did Brazil need to be represented by Plugman? I mean, do I need to explain why he sucks? Like, just from the name Plugman and look at the design, and you can obviously tell what's wrong with this Robot Master. Not to mention his stage is, well, it's not that bad, but man, it can be pretty hard. Mostly because of the second half of the stage having these piranhas jump out of the water and possibly knock you off the stage and leading you to your death. Like, that's like so unfair. Like, you need to be prepared for these things and watch your step. But man, his boss fight is also way too easy. Like, he's one of the more easiest Robot Masters to beat. Like, his patterns are predictable, and that's all I have to say about him. And also, he has the worst shield weapon of all time. Like, literally, the plant barrier, it sucks. Like, it's not even that effective as a shield. And, like, the other shields in the Mega Man games, they're much more useful. The plant barrier, it's just the worst. Oh my god. Capcom needs to stop with these Robot Masters, I swear. Number 7, from Mega Man 7, we have Springman. Springman? Okay, what did Dr. Wily think when he was making his Robot Masters? Like, what? Did he add a toy, like, when he was a little child when playing with the spring? Like, did he come up with the inspiration to make a spring Robot Master because it was one of his childhood toys? Like, are you serious? I can agree with Bass on a spiritual level that Dr. Wily is a complete idiot.
You'd think an evil genius would have thought about making an inescapable room full of instant death spikes way before he made a Springman.
But anyways, other than the stupid design that he has, his stage is so weird. Like, I know it's supposed to be having springs and everything, but of all the colors that it had to be, why pink? Like, seriously? Like, everything's all pink and it feels so, like, girly and stuff. Like, I understand it's supposed to represent some type of fun house or something like that, but, like, you know you could just use more than just pink for, like, everything, like, right? But anyways, talking about his boss fight, like, when using the Mega Buster, I think he's probably one of the more harder bosses as far as I am concerned. Like, I've never beat him with the Mega Buster, but if you fight him with the Slash Claw, he is literally the most easiest boss of the whole entire game. Like, you can guarantee, like, you won't get hit by a single shot from him because he's, like, so predictable and he's so easy to beat. And not to mention his weapon is also not that good. Like, you shoot 2 springs, and if you charge it up, the springs bounce higher. So you just shoot slinkies out. Big deal. Oh my god, well, Dr. Wily needs to stop coming up with these dumb Robot Masters. Because seriously, like, I don't even know why he's coming up with these type of Robot Masters, but no wonder why Dr. Light is much better than him, and no wonder why Mega Man always beats him. Number 8, Aquaman from Mega Man 8. And no, when I say Aquaman, I don't mean the DC superhero. You know what? Now that I think about it, how come Capcom didn't get sued for this one? But that's not the point. Like, we all know the DC Aquaman is so cool because he has the power to, like, swim underwater and command whales and sharks and all that stuff. This Aquaman provides none of that because he looks like a freaking hydro pump. Like, seriously. But his stage, I don't know what to say about it. I mean, the swimming mechanics is okay, and I don't know, it just seems pretty boring. This music is catchy, but there's nothing cool about the stage, and it's also one of the harder stages as far as I'm concerned. Not to mention, speaking of hard difficulty, his boss fight is so hard. Like, you have no idea how long I've been suffering at the hands of this dude because he is, like, one of the most difficult bosses I have ever fought in a Mega Man game. Like, Seriously, I can't beat him with the Mega Buster all by itself, because Aquaman just doesn't play by the rules, because he has so much going on shooting his water balloons and water cannons. Oh, speaking of, his weapon is a literal water balloon. Like, what am I supposed to do with a water balloon? How is that going to affect other Robot Masters? Well, it affects Swordman, but why is Swordman weak to a water balloon? Well, I get it because fire, water, and stuff, but this is just stupid. Oh my god. How much more Robot Masters do I have to deal with these stupid concepts and stuff? Number 9, from Mega Man 9, we have Plugman. Now, this was a hard one for me to decide because out of all the Mega Man Robot Masters in Mega Man 9, I had to decide on which one for me was the worst, and I think Plugman probably takes the cake for it. First off, his design is a plug, like, it's just a plug, like, what is the plug going to do to Mega Man? But I will say his stage is pretty alright, not just because of the music, but it's also one of the best stages to grind for E-Tanks, and, well, not E-Tanks, but screws to buy E-Tanks, and I'm appreciative for that. His boss fight, on the other hand, is pretty alright. I mean, he just jumps around the stage, shooting his electricity, and it's nothing special. Just beat him with the Jewel Satellite and you're done. But speaking of weapons, his weapon, the Plug Ball, it sucks. It's basically the Spark Shot, except it's, like, so awkward to use. Like, it can't travel anywhere unless it's it can only travel on the ground or on the ceiling and all that stuff. Like, you can't even, like, shoot it, like in other directions, because as soon as you shoot it out, it drops to the ground, and it rolls on the ground and the ceiling, and that's all it does. And most of the time, it probably won't even hit your enemies, so you basically just wasted the shot. Like, why did the Plug Ball have to be so useless? I mean, at least with Fuse Man's weapon, it's much, much better. Number 10 from Mega Man 10, we have Sheepman. I don't need to complain about the design. You guys get the idea, and I think seeing everybody's list who put Sheepman on the worst Robot Masters list, I think we already know why Sheepman sucks. Like, I shouldn't even explain it at this point, because we all know the design sucks. However, I will say I do like his stage. Now, when you think of the name Sheepman, and you start to wonder what his stage is going to look like, when you hear the name Sheepman, you think of, like, actual animal sheep. Like, so what, is it gonna take place in a zoo, or is it gonna take place in, like, a farm or something like that? But no, it actually takes place in a giant cyberized computer world, and I'm like, yo, a computer world? That's actually so cool. I'll give Sheepman credit because he has one of the most coolest stages, but I will not give him credit because he's also one of the more easier boss fights and just so predictable and so easy to beat. Unless you're playing hard mode, or if you're a hardcore gamer and you know how to go through hard mode and stuff, but still. Anyways, also his weapon, the Thunder Wool, is terrible. It shoots a cloud up in the air and a lightning bolt strikes, and most of the time you won't even hit your enemies. That's it. Moving on. Alrighty, so before we get to my number 1 pick on the list, as always and as per usual, here are my
Bowser Jr. Fan 13 Honorable Mentions.
Hyperstorm H. I'm sorry, but there's nothing that Hyperstorm H does to impress me. Like, design-wise, I mean, he looks like a pig. What else is there to it? And also, he's also pretty easy to beat, and he's pretty predictable and stuff. But what's his weapon even? If they give you weapons in the Wily Wars, like, what's Hyperstorm H's weapons gonna be? Inhaling? Blowing your enemies away with your breath? Like, just look at the boss fight and see what is it gonna be. Like, it's not even gonna be impressive as far as I can tell. Uranus from Mega Man V. I mean, come on. I think the name speaks for itself. And no, I do not mean it that way, you dirty perverts. But I guess the design isn't too bad. His stage is a little mediocre, though. His boss fight is whatever. I just mostly hate him because of his weapon, and it's just the super arm, only much worse. Pirate Man. Alright, his design, other than Bomb Man, Pirate Man's design is probably one of the, only designs in Mega Man that actually is good from the worst Robot Master's perspective. But his stage is bad, reminds me of Aquaman, and you guys already know I hate Aquaman. No, not the DC hero, the actual Robot Master, just want to remind you guys. Boss fight, also mediocre, and his weapon sucks. Seriously, how do you control the remote mine? And it's even much worse when you have to use it to unlock Dr. Wily's barrier. Do you know how long it took for me to beat Mega Man in base because of that one frickin' flaw? It's just so tedious. Quint. Quint is by far one of the most dumbest ideas Capcom has ever created. Basically, this is Mega Man from the future being controlled by Dr. Wily. And not only that, basically, he goes to his to the past and basically tries to kill his past self, even though he's going to die. Does this guy not know time traveling consequences or something like that? Oh, and not only that, his boss fight doesn't even feel as faithful. When you think of Mega Man from the future, you think he's going to be just like Mega Man. But no, he just rides on a freaking pogo stick with eyes. That's also a jackhammer. And speaking of the pogo stick with eyes, that's the weapon that you get from him. By God, why did Quint have to be created? Just why? Okay, finally, number 11 from Mega Man 11, we have Bounce Man. Okay, I didn't want to put Bounce Man on the list because, listen, I love all the Robot Masters from Mega Man 11. I thought all of them were pretty cool, but sadly, Bounce Man just had to be on this list. I won't complain about the design because, yes, the whole, design, it makes him look all girly and stuff. As for the voice actress, well, I mean, I don't know why he was given a female voice actor, but it's probably because his personality is supposed to be like some type of little kid that's having fun and stuff. Perfectly understandable, so I'm gonna let this one slide. His stage isn't that bad too. I actually kind of have fun with it. It's pretty cool, and the gimmicks are pretty fun. Boss fight, he's rather easy or hard depending on how skilled you are, but he's mostly one of the easier Robot Masters. I don't know, I can see why people hate Bounce Man because of the whole looking like a girly Robot Master and stuff, but I'm not too bothered with that. I just had to put a Mega Man 11 Robot Master on this list, just to satisfy anyone, but look, Bounce Man, just out of all of them, he doesn't really impress me that much, as far as I can tell. But I will also give him credit because he actually has a good weapon, and it's actually pretty fun to use too. So sorry, Bounce Man, as much as I didn't want to put you on the list, you had to make it on this spot. And that is all we have for today, ladies and gentlemen. Do you agree or disagree with the list? And let me know in the comments down below who is your least favorite Mega Man Robot Master. And if you want, you can go check out my top 11 favorite Mega Man Robot Masters in the description below if you want. And I will see you guys in the next video. Peace out, everyone.